New info on an FBI raid against a high-profile Democrat. Info that has just come out this week about a search warrant and subpoena confirming that authorities were looking for information on Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan, this top Democrat that has had ties to all of these other arrests going on in Illinois. People have been wondering if there's a deeper connection to Madigan with everything else that's been going on in the area. It's remarkable that while the information from the subpoena and search warrant is just now coming out, the actual raid at the City Club of Chicago took place in May, which was the same month that a top candidate for the Democrats, Mayor Pete Buttigieg, just so happened to be speaking at the club. Many are likely familiar with Michael Madigan, a longtime establishment Democrat. He has been directly endorsed by Barack Obama. In one of these many scandals, Madigan had previously, along with Rahm Emanuel, tried to give away $100 million of taxpayer money for an Obama museum. The construction of Barack Obama's presidential library has continued to draw criticism. There have been a ton of other problems with the construction, but back in 2014, Madigan and Rahm Emanuel were very heavily criticized for handing over $100 million of taxpayer money to Barack Obama's presidential library. Initially, Madigan and Emanuel tried to take this $100 million from taxpayers to give to Obama for the library without going through proper posting requirements and without a quorum being present, which were both required. Also, even if a quorum had been present, the legislation had been scheduled to be brought up in what was referred to as a subject matter only hearing, meaning testimony was to be heard but no formal votes were to be cast. That is not what transpired. Instead, the second and third most powerful elected officials in the state of Illinois were complacent and blatantly breaking their own rules in order to help give this money to Obama without any regard to the expense of the entire state's bank account. I have in recent videos talked about some of these Democrats who have been criminally charged and raided by feds, many of them being closely connected to Madigan. Another longtime Illinois Democrat, Ed Burke, pictured here with Madigan, was charged by feds. And another big question people have just been asking in the last week related to Burke, the ongoing case against this other longtime Illinois Democrat with ties to Madigan, involves Ed Burke's wife, who was a judge. According to new reports, Justice Ann Burke ruled on 10 Supreme Court cases involving clients of her now indicted Democrat husband. A recent report highlighting questionable ethics practices by Illinois top political power couple Ann and Ed Burke suggests the woman about to become Illinois' top judge could have used her seat on the Illinois Supreme Court to benefit her indicted husband's private law practice. I've also recently covered how feds raided Chicago Democrat Carrie Austin's offices, and another Illinois Democrat, State Senator Martin Sandoval, his offices were raided by FBI agents. Sandoval, it's also notable, has worked with Michael Madigan on several projects. Also, leading up to this, the FBI had raided the home of another top aide to Michael Madigan, Kevin Quinn. So this update on the info that feds were looking for on House Speaker Madigan is just the latest in what looks like a much wider investigation into corruption in the state. This is one of the new reports on this from this week, saying that federal investigators sought information about Democrat Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan in a subpoena and search warrant served on the City Club of Chicago as part of a probe into ComEd's lobbying practices. The emergence of Madigan's name on the paperwork is the latest indication that authorities are looking at the powerful speaker as part of the rapidly growing investigation. So we're just now getting info about the City Club subpoena and search warrant, even though it was executed in mid-May. They also requested information about several ComEd officials, including a former top ComEd official who abruptly retired last week as CEO of Exelon Utilities. A source has confirmed that she was one of the focuses of the federal investigation. 2 other longtime ComEd lobbyists also have been named in the subpoena and search warrant. It's now being reported that the investigation into ComEd's lobbying activities centers on whether the utility giant hired politically connected lobbyists to gain favor with lawmakers in exchange for favorable action at the Illinois Capitol. As part of the investigation, authorities are scrutinizing certain ComEd executives and have zeroed in on payments through the company's vast network of consultants to some individuals to seemingly circumvent lobbying disclosure rules. Some of the people who wound up being paid seemed to have done little actual work, the source added. Among the payments authorities suspect were thousands of dollars in checks written to Kevin Quinn, who was raided by feds, we looked at in this video, the now ousted political operative of Madigan. There was a press conference about this where City Club of Chicago president and reported ComEd lobbyist Jay Doherty sat in the front row as he listened to the state attorney general's address about the ongoing FBI investigations into whether the utility giant tried to buy political influence. Afterward, Doherty listened to reporters' questions on the same topic but did not answer them. With a vacant stare and a pained expression, he ignored reporters during an awkward 3-minute wait for an elevator. According to news reports, lobbyists were allegedly hired by ComEd as consultants on a sort of ghost payroll to get around lobbying disclosure laws. They allegedly cozied up to lawmakers and pushed them to take legislative actions favorable to the company. So this is also among these most recent developments, the fact that feds are looking into the president of the City Club of Chicago. It's also noted that ComEd has paid the City of Chicago Club's president more than $530,000 over the last 8 years to lobby for them at City Hall. But he does not have to publicly disclose what compensation he gets for lobbying in Springfield, where he has been listed as representing the company since 2010. A building doorman had said that agents took boxes of documents and computers during the raid. This article mentions how this new info about the May raid at the City Club matches information about several other Democrats who have been raided by feds, including the home of retired ComEd lobbyist Michael McLean, another longtime aide to Madigan. Also raided was the southwest side home of former Alderman Mike Zalewski. In the Zalewski raid, authorities were looking for records of interactions among Madigan, McLean, and Zalewski related to attempts to get ComEd lobbying work for the former city council member when he stepped down in 2018. Federal authorities also had served the Illinois Senate with paperwork asking for records of communications with State Senator Martin Sandoval, another Chicago Democrat whose legislative territory overlaps with Speaker Madigan's House district. Sandoval's Capitol office was raided last month. The lengthy list of things authorities searched for included, quote, items related to ComEd, Exelon, any employee, officer, or representative of any of those businesses, Exelon official A, B, Exelon official C, or D, and any issue supported by any of those businesses or individuals, including but not limited to rate increases. Tribune has reported that Sandoval's daughter collected more than $52,000 during a failed Cook County board bid from people and companies later named in the federal probe. Angie Sandoval has worked for ComEd since 2013 and was promoted to the role of senior account manager in June. And another big update today related to the case involves Tollway Director Alvarez. The Illinois Tollway head canceled his appearance at the City Club after the group received the subpoena in the ComEd probe. A quote from today says Executive Director Alvarez canceled his appearance at the City Club while there are questions about the federal investigation involving the organization. This cancellation is also maybe notable because of the fact that another search warrant had been made public earlier this month, which named numerous political players, including a Tollway board member who was also a Berwyn alderman and recently resigned from the board. Let me know what you think about this information so far. I will continue to follow anything else related. Any other connections you may think of, anything else, let me know in a comment. If you could leave a like on this video, that is greatly appreciated. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I will follow up soon. Thanks, everyone.